How do you choose between spending time with your own children or spending time with the children you have at school? Well, as a mom educator, you're often faced with this dilemma. Whether to attend your own child's events, their awards days, their field trips, their parent-teacher conferences, their back-to-school nights, or do you show up for your job? And because we are moms, we want to be there for our own children, but at the same time, we are educators, and it is a part of our job to attend those events. So what do you do? Mom or dad, this is a decision that you have to make. You have to decide what is most important to you. Yes, your kiddos are going to be disappointed if you miss their field trip. Yes, they're going to be disappointed if you are not there at their awards day. And believe me, it's going to be a cardinal sin if you miss parent-teacher conference night and the parents are coming to meet you, especially if you're dealing with elementary and middle school students. It is for this very reason that I made the decision that my kids have to come first. For years, I missed events that involved my own children just so I could be the educator that I was. I could be present for my students, but at what expense? I grieved the years that I lost of my oldest son because I was not there. I was at work. I was being super teacher. I would bring work home and grade papers. I would spend holidays at the school. I went to basketball events, football events, whatever sporting or other event it was, I was there. My own child had events, and it was hard. It was hard for me not to be there the first day of school, to take him to school. And I was a single mom. So it was even harder because I had to be at work. These are all sacrifices that we have to make as educators for the privilege of getting 2 months off in the summertime and maybe Christmas and a few holidays spread out through the year. So the question is, are you going to do it? What is going to be the most important factor in your life? Well, for me, I would say if you're going to stay in education, there has to be a balance. Maybe you can work with some of your coworkers on those field trips and see if y'all can alternate or rotate times in which you have to be present for those parent-teacher conference nights. You're probably going to have to be there. Try to see if you can get them scheduled on a night that's not the same night as your child's, but if they're on the same night as your child, maybe your team members can help you out. Maybe you can work the first half of it and then be able to leave, slip away a little early and go to your son or your daughters, or maybe you can miss the first half and show up for the second half. As long as you have a principal that is willing to work with you, then it's not quite as bad. But you do have to make those decisions. And another thing I'm going to tell you is that's when you have to make the choice not to work beyond contracted hours. Your time with your family and your kids is just as important as being present for other people's children. But the sad reality is that for many of those students, especially if you have elementary and middle school students, you are their mom. They spend the vast majority of their waking hours with you. And so they need you there to help them through their educational process, to give them their moral support, to help them become the great citizens that they are. Trust me, I'm proud of my students. Many of them have gone on to become educators, doctors, physical therapists. They have done phenomenal things in their career, and I'm so, so proud of them. And they often come back and tell me that I had an impact on their lives. Several of them call me mom, and I kindly answer because for so many years I was their mom, and I still am. But reality says you have kids at home. When you have kids at home, you have to make some choices. And some of those choices have to be that I have to be mom. There has to be a line drawn in the sand that I just refuse to cross. And so I'm not telling you not to love your students. I'm not telling you not to be present for them because they need you. But your own children need you too. And it's for this reason that I had to make a decision that I just can't do it anymore. I cannot do the traditional classroom. Not here where I am. I have to have a little more autonomy with what I do. I don't want to be leaving so early going to work that I'm missing my son. It grieved me this past school year to have to leave home before my son got on the school bus. Thankfully, later he started driving, and so I left and he was at home. I didn't have to miss it. But my little heart was hurting because he was getting on a bus He's getting up, and I wasn't seeing him getting dressed. I wasn't seeing him leave for school, and this is his senior year, and I'm like, I missed so much of that with my oldest son. I refuse to miss it with my second one. Well, this is his senior year he's going into. Last year that we just finished out was his junior year. But we have to make decisions to be there for our children, because in the long run, yes, I'm proud of my students, and I'm sure you're proud of your students too. But what a terrible thing it's going to be when your children tell you that you were not there for them, that you chose someone else's child over them. And if you will recall, the shooting incident, the school shooting incident, where the boy was angry with the students because he said his mom loved them more than she loved him, because she spent more time with them. She took up more time. I know I have been the kind of mom that they're riding bikes outside. So anyway, but I have been the kind of mom that not mom, the kind of teacher that was taking calls at home, that was doing all kinds of schoolwork at home on my personal time. And to each his own, but you have to make that decision. So please make a wise decision on what you are going to do with your teaching profession, with yourself, with your kids. Like I said, if you and your coworkers and your principal can come to a compromise, that's great. Or if you do half and half, maybe you'll do this and you can't do that. But there have to be systems in place. You have to have support systems to help you do the things that you can do or you can't do. Or if you need to pack stuff or do stuff early, whatever it is. But anyway, these are choices that you have to make. Thank you guys so much for listening. This has been LaWanda Shields, 2 Cute Classrooms, and I'll see you guys in the next video.